Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Rosa and Rubini podcast, Making Sense of This World. My name is Manas Chavla, and as always, I'm really pleased to be joined by CEO and Head of Research, Brunella Rosa. Brunella, this week we're covering the race for the future of money, which is in full swing, and of course has geopolitical implications. Last week you talked about a conference that was hosted at Bocconi University, which featured a keynote speech from a member of the European Central Bank's executive board. Tell me more about this speech. Tell me more about what it means for Europe uh, and the future of digital assets and how you see this landscape evolving.
Absolutely. I was in a couple of conferences in Italy of with a European perspective, the Banking Summit on Lake Maggiore, and then in Milan at Bocconi University that hosted an event with Piero Cipollone and the guy in charge of the Digital Euro project for the ECB. The, the message that came out is effectively the same. We have on the one hand China and its CBDC. On the other hand, the US and its stablecoin policy that has been effectively enshrined in the Genius Act and enabled by it. So where Europe stands in all this? Well, Europe at least has made a choice. They want to go down the digital euro route, which is the CBDC, both wholesale and retail. Not so much the UK. The UK still hasn't decided whether to have a CBDC, go the American way with stable coins and so on and so forth. But at least in the Eurozone, they are very convinced that the euro in its digital form is essential for what is called the strategic autonomy of the continent, meaning being able to have their own single circuit of credit cards, which effectively is going to be after the creation of the digital euro, because with programmable money, the easiest programming you can do is postpone the payment by a month, which is effectively a form of credit, as in a credit card, um, and um, and effectively also being able to resist the potential influence by China. I would say that there has been, of course, plenty of developments recently regarding the stablecoin environment with the Genius Act being approved by the US.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit more about, the Genius Act, exactly how it figures in American policy. How effective are regulators in actually being able to stop the market? So to put it like a layman.
Well, the point is that the Genius Act allows stablecoins to become a sort of new form of money, even if the BIS is not very convinced. They prefer tokenized deposits, which are a non-bearer instrument, so they're still linked to the original form of money created by banks. While stablecoins is a better instrument, so effectively once it's out there, it's not controllable anymore. But the Genius Act goes in a slightly different way and gives us exactly the same status of money. To the point that Tether, which is a Swiss-based provider of stablecoin, the largest of all, has actually decided to issue his own version of a stablecoin that is Genius compliant, called not USDT but USAT, which is kind of important level of innovation. Then eventually, uh, I think that USDT and USAT will converge because otherwise it's not sustainable. The real challenge there, of course, would be balancing the opportunities that derive from these 24/7 type of payments, programmable and so on, with the risk that come with it. And the BIS have highlighted in a few occasions being on integrity, so not being used for illicit purposes, singleness on money, which means that all sorts of payments needs to be reconciled effectively to one and become, to use a word in kind of modern word, interoperable.
Hmm.
And the other risk is that there's no what they call elasticity. So the balance sheet of stablecoin nature cannot expand as that of banks, which creates potential frictions that cause financial instability. So these are the big risks, but you need to kind of weigh opportunities and risks that are posed. The Europeans have reacted to Genius with MiCA, which is effectively another form of regulation that has been more stringent. But even being more stringent, 9 banks decided to issue a euro-based stablecoin that is MiCA compliant. So the Europeans are somehow reacting. And the good thing is that those banks come from several countries. From Italy, you got Banca Sella Unicredit. From the Netherlands, you got ING. From Germany, you got DECA. From Sweden, you have SEB. So many European countries, not necessarily Eurozone, which is another good thing. So the race is on, and I think it will continue for some times. China has also understood that the CBDC is an important route, but stable coins cannot be left behind. So they kind of announced their Chinese currency-based stable coin. Now, the Chinese currency that you can use is not the renminbi, of course, but it's the one that is issued to be traded offshore, the so-called CNH. And so the product that they issued is called Anchor CNH or AXCNH for abbreviation. So the point is, US has banned CBDCs and is ongoing full crypto and stable coins. The Europeans have started with CBDC, but understood the value of stable coins. So are the Chinese, which have a CBDC. They ban crypto, but they are now moving into stable coins. So it's very fluctuating environment, lots of moving parts for what I think is a race that is just begun and will continue for a few years.
No, I mean, these things are moving at such a level that I think we'll have to consider a sequel to Smart Money and a new manuscript soon. So I'm sure something is in the works, Brunello.
Definitely.
But as always, thank you so much for your time and insight. And we'll follow this very closely, both in short and long form.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Until next time.